I'm going to talk about owning your automation. I've been working in tech for more than 10 years, and during all this time, I've been involved into large digital transformation projects and initiatives with different sorts of organizations, right? But of course, now we're going to talk about banks and how it actually works. But before that, I just wanted to give a quick kind of intro and a background, right? When we are talking about automation, we usually mean digital workflows, which disrupt any industry, right? They have become an indispensable part of our day-to-day life, right? We are doing our purchases online, we are booking hotels, we are managing our finance, and on, right? So we are so used to it. And currently, digital processes are very interesting for large organizations because they know that the end users, they give all their love and loyalty to those companies who can, provide them with the best experience in this area, right? Because digital workflows are very personalized, they are very tailored to some specific needs of the customers. At the same time, they're very kind of convenient, paperless, right? And again, organizations, they want to adopt them and they want to move that direction of automation on the regular basis. But then they face this challenge, right? If you take a look at the slide, you will see that the worldwide demand for applications is actually more than 500 million, while on another hand, we have only 25 million of developers available, which is certainly not enough to cover that demand. So the bandwidth is just not there. But then on another hand, we have a resource which we have hardly tapped into. It's 1.7 billion of knowledge workers. Knowledge workers are people like probably you and other within this audience who are very well familiar with how processes work, but they lack technical expertise to actually automate them or, maybe, create an application with their own hands. So what if we provided with these people with the right tool or the right platform so that they can bring their automation ideas in live and by this own their automation? We will discuss this in a moment, but before that, I also want to move on and talk more specifically about the challenges which banks are facing these days when we are talking about technology, right? And there are quite few of them, but generally they are related to the increasing competition, growing customer demand, and digital disruption, right? So we try to boil this down into 4 key factors, which I'm going to elaborate a little bit more on. And I want to start with neon banks, right? So neon banks are coming, they are pressuring the more traditional banks. As you can see, in the span of the last 3 years, the number of such organizations and financial startups has grown from just 2,000 to 5,000, right? More than double. And the number continues to grow, right? And they are acquiring more people, they acquire like customers and the market share, right? So this year, 2023, the number of people who are using their services will reach 85 million, which is almost 20% of the population of EU in the age over 14, and so on and so forth. So just, in a nutshell, it is clear that this is a serious competition factor which cannot be ignored by traditional banks, right? Then comes the customer loyalty, which is more volatile these days, right? So customers, they have high expectation, especially if we are talking about technology. They would expect the same level of services provided by their bank that they are getting somewhere else. And I don't know, in Spotify or Netflix or Facebook, whatever they use in other, digital landscape, right? We see that according to the recent studies, 50% of customers, they don't believe that they're getting personalized enough approach from their bank. And again, 40%, they think that they're not getting the proper set of services or products from their bank, right? Obviously, there is a portion of customers which are not completely satisfied, and they can easily turn or move to another provider, another bank, in the first 90 days, they're not happy with the level of service. The third factor, when we are thinking about our customers, we should not forget about our employees, right? This is very important because our employees are facing our customers, and these factors are tightly connected between each other, right? So again, according to the study, we see that regular banking employee has to use a lot of different applications throughout their regular working day, right? The statistics says from 9 to 11, and this number has grown. I've seen a lot of customers where a regular, a person in branch has to use more than 15 different applications, and it takes them more than an hour throughout the day just to switch between them, obtain the data and, manipulate, do different things within these applications. Obviously, that does not contribute to the productivity, and then that keeps those employees unsatisfied. And that's definitely an area for improvement when we are talking about digital transformation initiatives within the bank. And then the fourth one is that the management lacks visibility, right? Not only because they don't have the respective dashboard, but sometimes they cannot trust the data, or sometimes we cannot obtain the necessary data to build the reports that management expects to see, right? So there's a problem with data accuracy, which affects the decision making. And then again, a lot of organizations that recognize that with the quality of data, they cannot be just sure that the reports that they are providing are accurate enough. And that's, again, another issue. All of that, of course, sounds concerning, right? But I don't want to exaggerate, because there is a way out. And we actually, while building our solution here at Creatio, we were thinking about these issues and thinking about the ways to provide the solution to the market and the organizations which are struggling with this, right? And we came up to the solution which consists of these two components: no-code approach and one platform. I'm going to elaborate on each of them a little bit more right now, but I want to start with the no-code, right? When we say no-code, let's take a look what was available on the market before the no-code, right? There were just two potential options. So the banks could go with packaged applications, which are tailored to resolve a very specific task or, a specific area. And they were good in it, but they were not flexible at all, right? So if you want to change something, or if you want to adopt the solution to your business, not vice versa, this is where you would encounter things like a real problems, right? Which would not allow you to be successful with that. And then there is a completely opposite thing, which is customer development. In this case, you can be very tailored to cover your specific and sophisticated needs or requirements, but at the same time, it's not scalable, not too consistent, and there are a lot of different drawbacks that organizations are facing with custom development and further legacy. This is why this no-code concept is there to kind of resolve all of this issue and combine the best out of two words of custom development and packaged application, while discarding the drawbacks of them, right? So it can be very tailored, right, because of the flexibility, but at the same time, it can be very quick to deliver, time to market, right? Because the pre-built applications are already there, right? And again, it's a totally different technology where not only the developers, but also the end users, those knowledge workers, 1.7 billion of those people whom I showed at the beginning of the presentation, can really contribute and create the applications that they will be using afterwards. Right, so let's take the key principles of no-code just to understand how it can contribute and how it can let the organizations to benefit out of this technology. The first one is use no-code to gather requirements and prototype on the fly. This is what Daniela mentioned, right, in her presentation, saying that you have to kind of build those processes before you go with the automation. But I've seen so many situations where organizations are simply don't have this. Either they're not mature enough, or they simply have the processes running in real life, but when we ask to put this on paper, well, it might be a bit of a struggle for them, right? Like in this case, you have an environment where you can prototype, right? You can say, okay, I know how it works, for example, a business person thinks, I know how it works, but I have issues with putting this on paper. In this case, you can use this interface to kind of build the process or the workflow from the blocks using the composable things that are available on the platform, and then automate it on the fly and see how it works, or if not, then reiterate and improve. The second principle is everything that can be delivered with no code should be delivered with no code, right? Because that's real easy, that's cost effective, it's real fast, right? I'm not saying that no code, well, it fits for everything, not at all, but there are a lot of things that can be developed fast and automated fast and impact the business significantly. And the third is deliver to end users as fast as possible. As simple as that, right? So we can deliver fast, we can get the feedback, reiterate, and continue that cycle of continuous improvement. Here are the, the no-code benefits for the business in a nutshell. So faster to start, meaning that you don't need to wait for the allocation of IT resources. Ramp up teams, build them together, train them, and so on and so forth, right? You can start with the citizen developers, with knowledge workers, with the support of IT, and in that powerful combination, you can start automating the processes. And don't try to boil the ocean overnight. Just try to go with something that can contribute fast and be a quick win for the entire organization. You can do that with a no-code. Second one is you finish faster, right? Obviously. So that means that with a no-code, the technology actually grants you the capabilities to build something out of the pre-configured blocks, and that allows to deliver things into production much faster. That actually leads us to the third benefit, which is improved alignment through the collaboration of business and IT resources, right? And that, of course, increases the agility because of the speed of delivery to production and speed of automation of processes. You can respond much faster to the demands of the market. And we know that the market is very dynamic here, taking into account the competition, change in regulations from the governments, and I don't know, such things as pandemic or something else, which affects the business and requires quick responses. I have actually a good example, which I will be sharing with you just in a moment, but that's in a nutshell how the organization can benefit from the no-code. All right, so the future of personalized experience in our vision is a combination of hyper-intelligence and hyper-automation. When we're talking about hyper-intelligence, we mean that we can build a truly 360-degree view because of the seamless data flow within all of those applications that can be built on the platform, removing the silos and making the data accessible to different users with different profiles. On-time engagement meaning being relevant to your customers, right? With all those insights that we collect from the data through these, through analyzing these profiles, right? And you can always be, very tailored in your communication. AI-powered decision, again, based on the data collected and analyzed, the machine learning models, the system can advise the relationship managers how to proceed with the customer or where to focus their efforts to get the maximum outcome, right? And then hyper-automation, seamless and digital workflows. This is something that we can build on that single platform using the no-code technology. Unified access to data, again, because everything is not clustered, is available to all the users, and no-code developers, which can deliver things real quickly. And these people, they have business knowledge and business background, and they work closely with IT to maximize the outcome. All right, so since we have uncovered a little bit the no-code part, I want to quickly talk about a one platform concept for banks, right? Here we are talking about the platform, the no-code platform, right? And on top of that, we have built a vertical solution which feeds very specific requirements of financial industry and banks particularly, right? And we are talking about, bringing together the best practices from different banks, from different, countries, and using this to build a solution that can contribute and help to go live faster, but then allowed to customize it to some sophisticated requirements of particular organization, right? So here we have retail banking module, corporate banking, lending both for corporate and retail, marketing automation for omnichannel, communication with your customers, and then workflow automation for internal processes and like KYC or I don't know, administrative process and so on. So this is how the banking workflow map looks in Creatio. It all starts with marketing and omnichannel communication, where you start engagement with your customers. Then you hand it over to your sales teams, right? And I'm talking retail and corporate relationship managers here, of course. Then comes the front office, the branch processes automation, lending for both corporate and retail, which of course is very different, but still kind of falls under a single item here. Underwriting and verification, customer experience and customer service to make sure you drive retention and upsales to your customers, compliance module, and then administrative services and internal processes automation. So the strategic business outcomes of this single platform are quite obvious, right? And they affect the key areas which are important for the business. We are talking customer experience here for new customers acquisition, retention, driving up sales and cross sales to your existing customer, right? Because we provide your people with the right tools, and that comes to the next kind of outcome and takeaway, which is operational excellence, right? Meaning that your people have a high level of adoption. Not only that allows them to be more productive, but also that kind of helps the entire organization to benefit out of it, because they are using the solution, and they're doing this because they contributed to the creation of it, right? When we say own your automation, that relates to every person. Of course, I'm not saying that your tellers or relationship managers will be creating this application with their own hands. They can, of course, if they want, and you can provide them with such opportunity, but normally it is done by so-called power users or citizen developers who come out of this environment and who have access to these people and their feedback, but then they aggregate it, and in collaboration with IT, they create something that will be adopted and used very intensively by the people, by the organization. And then, of course, time to market, right? Because of the flexibility, you are able to respond to the challenges which are coming from the outside, I mean, the market or the regulators, but at the same time, you can deliver your digital initiatives, projects, applications to production much faster with the proper technology, which is no-code platform, which we're talking about. All right, so how does it work, right? Okay, I've spoken a lot about the concept, about the theoretical part, but again, it always works like both ways. And I have a lot of examples, but here's the favorite one, which I really love. This is one of the European banks, and during pandemic, the regulator allowed to go ahead with online loans, right? Before that, there was no like online loans on the country level. So a customer of ours who have embraced the no-code concept and used it heavily for internal process automation was able to release a solution to the market in just around 2 weeks. But the most beautiful part about that is that for the next 3 months, there were no competition who was able to achieve the same results. So they've been dominating the market for 3 months in a row without any competition behind their back. And only after 3 months, they started to appear with their own solution. So that actually represents it, in a nutshell, how no-code can help you to get the competitive advantage, to win your market share and win new customers right there. Very simple. Again, briefly about us, about Creatio. As a vendor of no-code platforms, we are highly recognized by world-leading analysts such as Gartner and Forrester. But what we are really proud of as well is the recognition of the end users, as you see here on the bottom row, that end users give us really high marks on different platforms, meaning that they love the solution, they love the interface, and the adoption rates are also very high. And that, of course, makes us feel real proud about what we are doing. So Gartner and Forrester, of course, and then our customers, right? So we work on a global scale. That actually shows the flexibility of the solution to cover very different and sophisticated requirements, especially when we are talking about banks located in different areas. So we work with major banking groups in Europe, of course, like Raiffeisen, ODP, Societe Generale, BNP Paribas, and so on and so forth. And what's also very important that recently we have released a no-code playbook, which is actually a hands-on guide on how to adopt no-code and use it within your organization to maximize the outcome, right? We had a release event featured Steve Wozniak, but the book is really worth checking because it gives you like a practical guide on how to use this within your organization and extract maximum value out of it right away. It's available in different forms. You can just go and download it for free from our website, or you can buy it on Amazon. There's also a book available in a physical form or in audio format, which I also love a lot. And then, of course, the key principles of Creatio is one platform, which you have just discussed, freedom to own your automation and to create the applications that your business will be able to benefit. And genuine care means that we give a lot of love and attention, and we are committed to our customers, and we are committed to the joint success together. So thank you very much for the attention and for this opportunity to talk about automation with you today. If you want to check more about Creatio, feel free to do this by using the QR code or visiting our website, or feel free to approach me directly as well. I'll be happy to have this conversation. Thank you once again.